करे सो प्राण दे, जो मन करे सो प्राण ले, वही तो एक सर्वशक्तिमान है। मन करे सो प्राण दे, जो मन करे सो प्राण ले, वही तो एक सर्वशक्तिमान है। विश्व की पुकार है, ये भागवत का सार है कि युद्ध ही तो वीर का प्रमाण है। कौरवों की भीड़ हो या पांडवों का नीड़ हो, जो लड़ सका है वो ही तो महान है। जीत की हवस नहीं, किसी पे कोई वश नहीं, क्या जिंदगी है ठोकरों पे मार दो। मौत अंत है नहीं तो मौत से भी क्यों डरे, ये जाके आसमान में दहाड़ दो। आरंभ है प्रचंड बोल, मस्तकों के झुंड, बात जंग की घड़ी की तुम हार दो। हाल मान शान या जान खाओ दान, आज धनुष के बाण पे उतार दो। आरंभ है प्रचंड।
Muddy Muscles Course 3, which has not yet released, you're getting a free sneak peek that is exclusive for the people of this channel. You're getting to see one video. This is video number 15 from that course. Basically, in our courses, what we do is we have made different tutorial videos and we made a whole playlist of different videos for whatever the topic is. Muddy Muscles Course 1 was your dand, baithak, sapate, different kinds of dand, different kinds of baithak. And the course 2 was your lathi and the silambam and Kalari inspired lathi movements. Course number 3 is combining Akhada exercises with traditional martial arts. You're doing a dand, you're getting up, you're doing a punch. You're doing a dand again, you're getting up, you're doing a knee kick. You're doing a dand, you're getting up, you're doing a front kick. So there are different martial art moves that can be combined with traditional body weight exercises to make it a little more challenging, a little more fun. It is a way of training your mind-muscle coordination. It's a way of getting little more mastery over your body. It's challenge, and when you do all this together, when you understand and make it a combo, which we have given in the end of these videos, it becomes a very effective, non-stop cardiovascular body weight endurance workout, which has compound exercises based in Akhada and also traditional martial arts. There are detailed videos in which we are talking about the pranayama aspect. We're talking about the breathing in a little more detail. We're talking about the baithak and the dand in a little more detail. And with each of these movements, if the video is about a dand, baithak and a punch, the whole video is going to be a tutorial of how the punch is done, how a dand is done, how the baithak is done, what is the breathing. So this is video number 15 in that whole course. This is just a sample. This is what more videos will be. And if you like this video, make sure you stay tuned. Muddy Muscles Course 3 is coming, so you can see all other videos like this. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to cover side kicks. So you're supposed to be doing dand baithak. You're supposed to get up and then do side kick, left side and then right side. It's going to be a little difficult because side kick, when we teach to students, to children, it is something that most people find a little complicated. It's not so simple like the front kick. And it is even more, I would say, even more complicated than a roundhouse kick because it's a little different. It's a little different, but I'll try to convey the basic idea behind that kick. I'll explain what is the martial arts concept or logic behind doing something like that. We will give you an easy tutorial and you'll be able to do the side kick. Then with the side kick, we'll mix it up with a combo and then let's see. The concept behind doing a kick is basically your feet, your leg is kind of strong. It has big muscles like the quadricep. It has big bones like the femur and the shin bone and your knee. And it's kind of big and strong because you might have never done a push-up or something like that. But when it comes to your legs, you've been walking, you've been climbing, you've been running. Even if you're not a very active person, every day you're working your legs. So basically they are in general going to be stronger than your arms. Just take the ratio of the muscles, the size of the muscle, the strength. Usually, obviously, like imagine doing a curl with a bicep curl or something, you're pushing something. Usually the personal record for people who go to the gym is going to be higher with the squats and not with the arms. Anyway, what I am talking about over here is your kick is going to be powerful, and in a self-defense or a martial artistic point of view, it's going to keep the opponent far away because your hand, your arm is over here. This is the length of my arm. I'm still close. This means the other person can also punch me. Now, if I am kicking, I got a little more safe distance. Now, that can be plus point or negative point, whichever way you want to look at it. Kicking is bad for self-defense. You should not kick in a real fight because you will fall down. Of course, if you do not know how to kick, you should not kick in a real fight. You should not be in a real fight if you do not have that kind of practice. But if you are practicing, if you are a martial artist, if you know how to kick, then why not? Coming to the side kick, this is a kick in which you are sideways, and when I am sideways, what makes sense to me, especially in terms of the kick, is I'll use the front leg because my back leg is kind of far away over here, and this kick, especially the side kick, can be used in a more defensive way. How do you use a kick in a defensive way? Especially something like the side kick. For people who fight like this, for people who have like taekwondo, karate kind of a stance, sideways stance, this is a more defensive. I can run away, I can go that side or this side. This kind of a stance in which I'm not 100% committed towards the front. I'm not 100% committed towards running. I am kind of in between. I can get in, can get out. That's the more of a point fighting kind of a situation. From there, you can always use as a block, as a defensive obstacle. You can use the side kick just like this. That right there was the worst possible side kick ever in the history of side kicks. But still, it got the job done. I can simply lift up my leg, put it out there from this sideways stance, and I can stop the opponent. It's a stopping thing. You want to look at it as an attack? That requires a little more precision, training, technique. When you're thinking of an attack, now you'll have to chamber the knee to the opposite shoulder. What is the opposite shoulder? I'm kicking with my left leg. Opposite shoulder is the right hand or right shoulder. And from there, I'm going to point it like this. Like this to the opposite shoulder, and then I'm going to extend it. One, and then I'll try to do that. That's supposed to be very powerful because in this variation of the side kick, unlike the usual traditional martial arts side kick in which you lift up the knee really high and then you turn your foot and your body using the hip, it's okay. But in that kind of a side kick, your foot is basically flat on the ground or flat on the opponent, on the target. It's almost horizontal like this. So if you can come close, that's what your side kick is basically like. If it is over here, this is what it's called as a side kick, and you're not flat on the target like this. You are obviously supposed to be using the side of the foot, not too much. Don't get crazy over here. It's just a little bit over here, pulling the fingers up so that all the fingers are kind of safe. And I'm using this part. This is what is usually referred to as a side kick. But now, if you turn it a little more, if you turn it inward, so this basically does not involve my glutes or the muscles in my back at all. But if I do like this, it's a little more. But if I do this, where it is not horizontal, but a little more tilted, this right here is the difference between the power that you can produce. So instead of lifting up your foot straight, looking at the opponent and correct horizontal like this, which is okay, not a problem. That's how we are taught in traditional martial arts, to take the back leg and do a kick like that. Of course, that's going to have a lot of power. It's going to have a pushing power and all that. But the time required for you to make a 180-degree turn like this and then do the kick, especially a kick that has to go like this, it's a little more unrealistic. Of course, you can set it up. If you know that you have to do something like that, then you can do it. But usually, if you are in a sideways position, from there, a side kick is a good option. From there, you're going to lift up your front leg. And what we were discussing till now is that this is okay, but if you can do this, that will allow you to use your glutes. This is a very strong muscle that most of us ignore, right? That is how you're climbing stairs, you're climbing something, you're stepping up of a rock, or you are pushing something with your leg, you're getting on your motorcycle, doing the kick. All that requires your glutes, and your glute is kind of very strong. The side kick is a technique in which you are supposed to bring your leg up close that knee joint and then push or shoot towards the opponent. Now this, for most people, they do a side kick like this. It goes upwards or it comes from the side. Most people, the side kick sometimes looks like the, yeah. It's okay, it's more like a pushing thing. But even worse, sometimes we see your kick basically did this and that. That is wrong because the object behind a side kick, of course, I can't be like general, this is wrong, that is right. If you're doing it on purpose, nothing is wrong. But then I am supposed to do something like this. That is what generates power. That is what generates that pushing effect. That is something that can have that impact. I'm supposed to do that, but instead of doing this, going straight in 90 degrees, instead of doing that, imagine if I am doing this or doing this. Number one, it will miss because I'm doing something like that. Number two, it won't have that effect. The kick is supposed to go straight inside. It is not supposed to be like this. Now, because I was looking at the camera, I kind of missed that. I missed it, right? So if you're doing like that, it's like using an arrow like this. You hold an arrow, it's supposed to go like this, but instead you did this, which is, it beats the purpose, right? Your kick has to go straight like that, then only it can push. And now here I am coming to the glutes point. Because I'm lifting up my leg like this, here I'll be using this muscle. This is expansion, this is contraction. I am using that muscle to pull my leg and then push or hit, whatever. So I'm here, I'm just exaggerating that movement for you. The way that was executed is I took my leg from there, used my glute muscle and then shifted in such a way that the impact is pushing, not hitting, not slashing, pushing or going through the target. And for the last time, if people did not understand the importance of the glute muscle and why I spoke all that, is because when you climb a staircase or something, you take a step up towards something, your leg is like this. This is the muscle you're using to basically go up. If you think about it, that's a very strong thing. I'm sitting down like this, and basically this and the legs, the quad muscle and all that is what I'm using to get up. Imagine that's the only thing we're doing in a side kick. This is the problem with people's side kick. You're not thinking as if it's supposed to go straight. You're not thinking of this as an arrow or a spear. You're thinking of this as something that you throw. You throw like this, or you throw like that, or you throw upwards. That's not a side kick. It has to go like that. It has to first chamber itself and then go straight towards the target. And for that, you're using basically the same thing. Imagine I'm kicking the floor. This is how you should practice your side kick. Kicking the floor. 1. That is the most effective way to kick the floor, isn't it? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? No. Or should I do something else? No. The most effective way to kick the floor over here is lift up straight and go 90 degrees down. Now imagine the floor was up there on the punching bag. Now, how do I do the same thing? Small change. I have to orient myself for it first, turn myself over first, and then do the same thing. It's the same thing as doing this, but I just oriented myself first and then did the same thing. So that's it. That's all. I think I did some justice to explaining the concept or the logic behind the kick. And most people make some mistakes. Hopefully I have covered that as well. Now, is this the only way to kick? No. There are different ways in which you can do the same thing. If you have watched all the other videos, this is kind of like the bottom line of whatever I say. There are different ways of doing the same thing. And everything has its own training, its own background, its own logic. So if you are doing a side kick from a little far away, then it has a different kind of pay attention to the other foot. It has a different kind of mechanic. If I am doing something more defensively, I'm going backward, then that's a little different. If I'm doing something in a setup kind of a manner. I'm setting up something like that and then going up. It's a different kind of a kick. So there are different variations. The simple variation would be the one we practiced just now. Simply taking up the leg to the opposite side, then kicking straight. Practice to the lower level first, then you can go to the middle level, and then as you go up, this straight shifting and shooting would be little difficult, but with practice that can be managed and whatever. So basically, you're going to practice like this. Step 1, turn to the opposite side. I'm going to kick with my left leg to the left side. Step 1, turn to the other side, just a little. Now I'll be lifting up my leg to the opposite shoulder, and then I'll kick. Notice this kick, you have to feel like you're kicking on the motorcycle or something. You're using all these muscles. You're doing this. So step 1, turn. Step 2, lift. Step 3, kick. Bring it back. That pull back is important. Other side, how would you practice the other side? Turn a little, bring the leg up, and then kick, and that's it. That's how you're supposed to practice this. So I hope now we understand what a side kick is. Coming to our combination of mixing that with the dand baithak. Please notice that we have already discussed dand and baithak, how to do a dand baithak, how do you breathe during a dand baithak, all that we have covered in the earlier course videos. So if you have followed the exact order, you will kind of understand everything. I am trying not to repeat all of what we have taught again and again in every video, so that it does not become very long. Right now, we are going to combine it with your dand baithak. What is your dand baithak? Going down like this. And in this one, instead of going in the staggered stance like the punch, instead of going in the sideways stance, instead of doing something else, here, this is different. This we have not covered till now. This is a different kind of a thing, because I am trying to kick with my left leg to the left side, and then I'll do a dand again, then I'll kick with my right leg to the right side, again dand, left kick, dand, right kick, dand, left kick. How do I make that possible? First, kick, whatever kick you're doing, it's not about the kick itself. It's not about the leg with which you're kicking. The kick is measured, its value, its effectiveness will come from the way you set it up. It is the setup, it is the position before the kick that will make your kick powerful, effective or ineffective. So first we have to come to a certain position that will effectively make you execute the kick. After the dand, this is what I have planned. I'll come up just as always, and now I'll do this. This is something you might want to practice. 1. Because I'm going to kick with the left leg, I'm going to lift it up now and kick. And of course, after the kick, I'll come back and continue to the right side. 1, 2, and then put it back. You don't have to put it back. You have to, after the kick, you can come down directly and then obviously continue. Is this difficult? If it is, practice this. Sit down like this. 1, come back. 2, come back. Try kicking. 1 and a kick. 2 and a kick. And that's it. Basically, when you put that with the dand baithak, it's going to be enough. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's how you mix a side kick with your dand baithak and make it a cool, mixed, whatever, high intensity, non-stop workout. And as always, towards the end, we are going to talk about breathing. Breathing is very important. As you have seen in the earlier 10-15 videos that we have already done, we are exhaling, and the exhalation is what we are focusing on. Exhalation for the dand will be very slow. That is the exercise kind of exhalation that we have talked about. And then for the kick, our exhalation will be a little different. It will be a little more sharp, martial artistic kind of a exhalation. How that will sound is this. You're doing a kick. You're doing the combo again. And of course, I'm breathing in also. Inhalation is happening in between. because it's a lot of moving parts already. I don't want to make it more complicated. So I'm just asking you to pay attention on the exhalation. Just exhale at the push up and at the kick. Kicking exhalation is a little different, little more fast, and the exhalation for your push up is a little different. It's a more exercise version of how you should breathe. And of course, inhalation is happening in between. Inhale, inhale, exhale. And that sharp exhalation, slow exhalation, sharp exhalation. Oh, बुढ़ापा आ गया. Basically इतना ही है. That's all. So see you in the next clip. Next we are going to cover back kick, and then we will cover spinning kick.